What is up, everybody? Okay, Lostbelt 3 time. Okay, a little loud on the music there. Man, that was at 25% volume. That was that loud at 25% volume. Like, what? Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, gotta get through Lostbelt 3 so we can then get through Lostbelt 4 so I can actually roll for Asclepius. Okay, off we go. If anything blocks this account though, it's going to be Limbo with God Juna. And although regular God Juna at the end might be a little bit of a problem because I don't have a lot of the taunt walls leveled up. We've got George and then Esports Ben K and that's it. Okay, Geronimo it is. I don't know why this is a thing, but I haven't gotten a CE drop in NA yet either. I think I'm 12 boxes in or something. I haven't played that much. The thing is, I have 2 golden sumos, so I don't actually need it that much. Like, yeah, it's nice if you got the golden sumo on someone else and you got to give something to a quick unit. Alright, it's good, but because I'm dual wielding golden sumos, it's not really that big of a deal if I don't get it. But I kind of want it out of principle. That is a Hydra, aka Living Filth. So go ahead and fire this off. I need to level Hans' second skill one more time so he gets his NP there. Oh, we got Geronimo's quick card. You know what that means. I'm to make like a third of an extra star. That did not do much damage. Of course you crit. Well, this is not looking good. Might actually lose this. Hans landed defense buff. If I know we were fighting a Hydra, I would have brought Kodoku. I don't think he landed the defense buff on Geronimo. Just the one that we needed it on. Don't skill seal me. Don't do that either. Fucking overgrown garden snake. How are you just gonna crit that many times? Oh boy. Can Hydras be divine, please? That would help. Also, I wish I'd gotten a Geronimo art card. I guess I want to do her NP just because I need the heal. All the damage. Stheno, I ranked that skill all the way to 10. And debuff resist does not affect it. It's 80%, and I swear we have missed that. Just like I think we've hit it like one time at a meaningful moment off memory in like the last few days. Like, holy crap. Okay, well, should have done the Buster up, I suppose. This song has the slowest intro of all time. The song has been playing for 1 minute and 23 seconds, and you can barely hear it. The beginning of this song for like 30 seconds is like static. I wish I was kidding. It's a good song once it gets going though. win. Well, he messed that thing up. I mean, any editing program, you can easily edit an NP3. That's not difficult. He crits, maybe it dies? 27k is a tall order for Geronimo. Yeah, okay. Well, NP it is. Everybody dies, except for Geronimo. Where he is the chosen one. Actually, Martha lived somehow. Probably gonna die to that dot. At least we're gonna win. I actually thought we might wipe. Okay, if we win this turn, Martha is saved. So what I'm saying is Martha's gonna die. I think I have to wait anyway, because in one turn I get the art up, so not worth it to NP right here. Well, she can go out cooking. Rock! Definitely the Giant's best animation right there. Wow, Geronimo's the only one left. Our back row was that meaningless. Even though I've got art up, I think I'm gonna do the Buster. Because 30% crit, 50% crit. If I can kill it right here. If we don't kill this thing this turn, he might actually kill us. Hitting on RNG. Got that baby heal. That is not enough! Oh boy, please don't crit me. Maybe cast a skill. Woo! And we guarded it. What a scrub. Not even close. Got him with the quick up, boys. That's the reason we win, clearly. Man, we almost wiped on a trash stage. Look, Geronimo's the only survivor, so therefore he's the strongest one on the team. Best unit. That means everyone should level their Geronimos and no one should level George, Martha, or Hans. Those are all clearly inferior units. This is absolutely how logic works. Hey, we hit him with that quick up, quick card twice throughout that run. Probably did an extra like 1,500 damage because of that. And made maybe 1 star and maybe 1 NP gain. I cannot wait though to beat Lostbelt 4 and see if I get Asclepius. And we might get Ushi while we're at it and stuff like that. We really need to get Ushi to NP2 before Demeter. This does not sound like a good time otherwise. It's either that or level Ricky Boy, because I think he's NP5. Because Fate is a bitch. What is this? It's not Horsebindo and Lanling yet, because we haven't fought Spartacus yet, and it's not Spartacus because he's right there. I don't know what this is. So, we're throwing Tesla at it. I feel like I should bring a better back row in case of emergency. But I'm really wanting to get Bond on George and Stheno. I need to just get George to Bond 10 so I have to stop worrying about it. Oh, the new 5 stars are we talking about? I don't know, we'll see. I haven't really decided what I'm doing about 6.5. I want to see more of the characters, like what they act like and stuff, and their gameplay. I'm happy to roll on anything though that I kind of like, just because I want a coup, right? I just want to roll for coup, really. If Ku is rated up in the 6.5 banner, I would roll. I mean, there's no question. Like, they could rate up fucking Kiara, and if Ku was also rated up, I would roll. Oh, hey, it's just plain horse bendo. The normie. Like, there's one priority in FGO above everything else. And it's always been that way. It's just for the longest time, Ku's been completely maxed, so it wasn't relevant. See if we can get a stun here. I remember though, my first roll, my tutorial roll, you get a bunch of 3 stars in your tutorial roll. The very first one that popped up was 2, and I'm like, okay, we're set. Count's done. Everything else is a bonus, and I still feel that way. Like everything else is just a bonus. Yeah, I need those Ku coins. Terrible system, and I wish it wasn't the way that it is, but this is where we're at now. I've been using the FPCE some. I don't use it every stage. Like when I'm doing QP dailies, I still bring a QPCE, stuff like that. But I do sneak it in when I'm like, oh hey, I can bring one without harming my setup. I'll bring it. Wow, he is lasering Tesla right now. Oh, we still have guts. Man, I really need to watch Iron Blooded Orphans again. It's been a long time, and I really like the second season, man. And like the antagonists are awesome, and the win, which is great. Like, of course I like that anime, right? I always like antagonists, and that anime, the antagonists win. It's like, and they deserve it too, because the main characters are, it's all about like they're making bad decisions. It's like the thing. Alright, I guess I evade here and NP next turn. I don't know why I didn't bust her up on Spartacus earlier. I don't think it would really matter, but... Yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's really good. Iron Blooded Orphans is the anime we're talking about. The first season I'm not super crazy about. Like, it's okay. It does have good, like, animation and, like, fight scenes and stuff. But, the first season focuses so much on the main characters, and I don't know, I just kind of bleh. But it's really necessary for setting up the second season, so. I actually don't think, was his name Loke or Locke? I don't really mind him. Like, I don't really root for him, but you're not supposed to. And there are people like that in life in positions of power. It just is what it is. And it's not like he wins at the end of the day or anything. He's one of the few bad guys that doesn't end so good. So I think it all works out. Could do the Buster Chain instead of I kind of want the heal though, but Buster Chain go over. I mean, I haven't used Santa Martha in any serious capacity. I don't know why people keep saying this. Let me really lay this down. I'm playing, say it with me, the Stheno account. On any world, do any of you all think the Stheno account is like a bastion of prepared units, right? Like I don't have Mozart leveled, for God's sakes, right? Like, I'm using Martha because I don't have anyone else that I can use, and she was incredibly easy to level because she got double XP and she didn't require mats to ascend. I don't have the mats to even ascend Mozart right now. I can't level Hans's third skill. I am not over here using Martha because she's like some god tier support. I'm using Martha because I don't have anything else. Now, I'm not saying she's bad because we've barely done anything with her because her skills are 1-1-1. Oh man, we're really showing off how good or bad Martha is with that totally prepared toolkit. Like, I've had this comment like so many times over the last few days. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm on the Stheno account. We're using fucking Proto-Coup all the time. Like what? Like, I'm using Proto-Coup all the time. You think that's because he's better than regular Coup? It's because it's just what we got. Yeah, really good rant music here. Okay, anyway, 4,000 health. I think it's because nobody actually watches the stream, right? They just listen to the ranting, and then no one has any idea what's going on. Like, no one has any idea what's actually happening right now. Okay, I'm pretty sure the fight ends when you break, so you don't need to heal. But I'm gonna heal anyway. He got us, yep. You even found out, chat. Yeah, I don't know, somewhere between the NP1 Ushi, the lack of Mozart entirely, and no coup, you think people might get a hint, but apparently not. We could have handled another health bar though, because I could have brought an actual team and used Proto-Coup in the back and stuff. We could have handled 600k. I'm gonna put into an early grave for the ranting. Good music though. Alright, let's see, we're on chapter 6, so I think we are gonna fight Spartacus kinda soon, and then it's Horsebindo and Lanling. And then some shenanigans, and then Yu is in there somewhere. Can we get a Billy animation update now? That would be great. Like, literally, what other support could I possibly use right now for Billy, right? Like, yeah, I mean, just get my 10-10-10 Alex. Totally got that on this account, guys. It's not like it took me 6 years to get that on my main account or anything. Once green level Saber Gilius, the account will be complete. You know, you think that's a joke? That's not even a joke though, because in 2099, when I finally have time on the Stheno account to level a luxury unit like that, the account probably would be complete. Like, I'm actually in complete agreement with Say, if this account ever had the luxury of leveling Saber Gilius, why the fuck are we already fighting them? This is not the main fight with them, I don't think. I'm pretty sure that has trash mobs before it. I remember because we were stuck on that fight for an incredibly long time on the 1 to 3 star account. So yeah, I think you break like one of their health bars and that's that. The question is which one of their health bars. So I guess we'll go with Lanling because I've got Billy here. Remember when you got to use Mystic Codes? That was a good time. FGO 2, that's just an open world game with PvP. I wouldn't put it past him. Nasu actually wants like a more free open game like that. He's talked about it before. Damn, we didn't quite break. Probably would have if we had our Mystic Code. And now he's got invulnerability and we have to sit here for 10 years. Billy with a 90% Buster crit. And we're gonna hit a mob that I don't think we need to hit. Do I just Buster Chain instead of doing the NP? Sure. Watch us fail this crit. Thank goodness we didn't. I keep thinking we're fighting trash stages, and then, oh right, Langling's got the hit thing, crap. But anyway, I keep thinking we're fighting trash stages, and then we're not, and I bring bad teams. It's a bit of an issue. Holy crap, Stheno's doing things. It's a miracle. Also, we just slow down their NP so hard. I love that Nobu with the Christmas hat. Crap. I think it's supposed to break Horse Bendo's bar. I think I'm gonna have to reset. We'll see. I wonder if you kill Lanling. I wonder if that works. That's bad. Well, there goes Martha. Well, Lanling's dead, but I have a feeling that's not the requirement here. Man, I was hoping George wouldn't have guts go off that turn. That'd have been really good. Yeah, looks like the objective is to break Horse Bendo's bar. So we just kind of wrecked Lanling for no reason there. We can probably still do it though. Shame he didn't have his evade, so I could evade Stheno, because then she could NP, which would be good. Especially if he happened to cast Pierce Invulnerability next turn. Man, stage 1 Horse Bendo is not the best. The mini deaths of Stheno. This is where I wish I had better command codes equipped right now, but we'll still probably win next turn. Good crit there. Oh yeah, 64k is not a big deal. And then you find out that you don't win when you break his health bar. Look at these giant crits going into the void. Okay, so I think all you have to do is break that one bar. So all that Lanling stuff was just, it was hard mode, guys. It's so strange having the main story cost 0 AP. It's nice though, it means we can reset on bosses as much as we want. And no guilt, no waste. Okay, surely this is just like... Actually, I think this is trash mobs and then just Lanling. I think that is a fight off memory. What do we want to use this time? You know, we could use Zenobia. We really haven't used her at all since she came out in any serious capacity, so why not? What kind of setup for her? I would say Mozart, but we don't have him. Maybe someday. David makes sense. Let me look at her kit again real quick. I think she's got Star Absorb and a small Star Bomb. Alright, she makes stars per turn with her first skill. Right. Oh yeah, she got that crit resistance thing. I think Martha, I guess. That seems like okay synergy. Either that or Hans. Hans is more stars total, even with his third skill being so unranked. And she already has Star Absorb. Okay, we'll do that. In case of emergency. Oh yeah, we have Atalante. That's probably better. Law saving me from needing to roll for servants. I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Although I really regret not having my own Hot Wheels. And I even rolled for NP5 Asclepius back then. It just didn't get a single copy. He's so cool, man. Much like Mario, apparently. Alright, these are the only mobs before the boss, so we'll just load them up. No Zenobia cards, that's unfortunate. Oh, Tiamat's theme from Grand Blue. I really want to see a 120 Spartacus. Get more value out of all that healing he does. Fire, tire. Okay, there's more ads here. Okay, there's our Zenobia stuff. You know what? Let's just fire everything. I wish we had more stars from last turn, but... Click the buttons! Like how she did the slow walk and it instantly jumped back. Shame I have to do those first, but that would have been so good if I could have NP'd them quick. Probably gonna be a while before they use Zenobia again, but she'll probably get the spotlight eventually. Didn't quite fill the ads. We can NP again pretty quickly though. Man, I wish we could have just gotten rid of Spartacus and had Hans out this whole time. Probably oppression saying that though. I don't think she'll show up in the main story until potentially 3.0. Like, if you look at what's left in 2.0, thematically, there's not a lot of room for a lot of characters, honestly. And there's always a few oddballs and whatnot, but yeah, I think a lot of people are going to have to wait until 3.0 because there'll be a bunch of new, you know, different story backdrops and whatnot. Really don't need to evade, his NP doesn't do damage. I kind of want him to die right now, but I've only got the one Zenobia card. I could give her the attack up and then hope she crits with that 60%, but even that might not be enough. But you know what? I'm gonna try it because I'm not gonna need that attack up for anything later on anyway. Everybody crit. Good start. Damn it. Man, even if David had crit, I don't think that would have been enough, but... Salome's probably gonna have to wait until 3.0 as well, honestly. And considering how she's not that popular, they're probably not even considering her for the main story. They're probably gonna just find an event where they can give her some screen time. That would be my guess. Well, nobody died, and not even close. From what I've seen, Vertra's not popular at all in Japan. Like, not at all, so I probably played in a little bit into them skipping her rerun. I'm sure there was more to it than that, but they probably didn't feel so bad about it due to her not being popular. Part of her not being popular, though, I think is just the fact that they haven't really given her any screen time outside of, like, just Valentine's and her, you know, minor... Like, the Christmas story is pretty short, so that's kind of minor. That's kind of all there is, so... And most people don't read. Alright, I think Spartacus is soon. Hey, Rabbit. So, Beasley, speaking of reading, when, like, you play, like, Dark Souls for the first time, or when Elden Ring comes out and you play that for the first time, do you read the item descriptions? Or do you just pick maybe a few, or do you skip them entirely? Like, what the... How do you go about that? Because you pick up a lot of items in those games, so... Potentially a lot of reading, actually. Alright, yeah, this is Spartacus. I read all item descriptions when playing in English, like on your first playthrough. I'll probably read like 90 or maybe 75% of them on my first playthrough, and I don't really remember what I did in past games. I think in past games I kind of just... I'd read some and I'd skip some, kind of depending on like what was going on in the level, that kind of thing. Alright, let's see here. What do we want to use? Get someone a like budget support and see how our own DPS does. Yeah, let's do that. There's Hans. Generally a safe bet. Alright. That. Do I give him 2030? Maybe if I use Proto-Coup? Yeah, we'll do that. That's fun. I can't believe I don't have a limit broken 2030 on my main account, though. But I do on NA. Yeah, I actually find if you just read some item descriptions, it will add so much context to what you're doing, so you're not as lost. It's quite nice, actually. I remember when I played Dark Souls 1, though, I barely read any item descriptions and I had absolutely no idea what was going on. But Dark Souls 1 is more like that anyway. Did I not log in again? I think I didn't send it through. There we go. How do I want to go about this? George isn't too bad here. Stheno's not too bad here. Okay, real quick, I use Proto-Coup so much, I gotta level those skills a bit. Like, his star absorb percent is tied to the skill rank. And it's just so bad that it doesn't really exist right now. Wait a minute. Shit! Oh god, why? That is atrocious! Man, I need to go to that pirate ship at some point and just, you know, do that for like a day. Oh, man. That is awful. Cannot escape. Man, imagine if the lottery event had hero proofs in it. That would have been so much better. Yeah, I'm close to that, Alan, too, on an A with the CE drop. I'm going to beat you to death. Yeah, that's hero proofs. I actually think hero proofs might have overtaken Void Dust as the most needed mat with passive skills. I think more things what I've looked at, it kind of seems like there's more hero proofs in there, but I don't know. I'm just guessing. But I know hero proofs were in second place to Void Dust for a long time, but that was a while ago. Okay, that I can afford, but I'm not sure I want to use those gold gems on that skill yet, so we'll just keep it right here. Why do pirates have hero proofs? Because back then they didn't really have any mobs, to use otherwise, and I guess in their minds, as Red said, they stole them. But I don't know if they thought about it that clearly. I think it's just because they're humanoid, really. But if the game came out day one with all the trash mobs they have now, I actually bet hero proofs would not drop from pirates. These are like all of our supports that can support a quick unit. Could bring the Switch Mystic Code. Doesn't seem too bad here. Okay, we need to up the music here. That's better. You're liberating your money. There was a famous gambler that had a saying, something along the lines of, it's immoral not to separate a sucker from their money. And he was like a con artist. Do I third skill proto coup? I'm gonna say yes. If I had like an art chain right now, I wouldn't, but most certainly do not. Good turn, good turn. Alright, I want my NP next turn. Do I go ahead and do crit up? Yeah. Some damage going. This should do it. It's gonna be close, but I think it'll do it. Although Honda's third skill's not 10. Damn it. That would have been short anyway. Well, now George's... I wanted to NP there, so when George died, he would give me battery for the next NP, but now he's just hitting nothing, so completely whipped. Okay, Stheno. Let's not fuck this up. There you go, and then Divinity Plus. Okay, now we get the defense down. See, look, she's actually adding a huge amount of damage. I think the defense down's like 30%. Got 40% attack up. Also stalling a turn because of the charm. Like a lot's happening there. That's good. Okay, we broke. Do I charm? Yeah, I'll go ahead. Wait, he gained mental debuff immunity! Only one time, though. Well, Then I'll go Burr. It was actually good to use that charm though because no one else has a missile debuff, so might as well get rid of it. Might be able to art chain next turn as those Hans's MP. Or you could just, you know, wreck Hans. Oh, this is such a good turn because he's stunned and I can just do this. Oh, we're gonna wreck him next turn. Please land the attack buff. Why do I count on Hans for anything? I could have brought in David because he'd block the NP, but I'm gonna try to win right here. So she can stall it a turn. This might not kill. Spartacus is not divine, demon, or undead, so we don't get the bonus there. Still have that defense down though. Nah, not quite. Well, maybe Stheno can do it. 40k? Damn, 42k. Well, how about that? Fairly impressive. Okay, is this the one? Nope, no, not yet. It's soon though. Lanling and Horsebindo. What to summon here? Why not? We don't use her too often. Alright. To war. I'm probably never gonna do something like George again because it is so powerful when you can control that kind of thing. But you never know. They do crazy things from time to time. Wouldn't really be that big of a deal though, because you fight, there's so many enemies that have divinity naturally that it's easy enough to get value out of your anti-divinity characters. The ones that it's hard is like Sanson, right? Like good luck getting that one. Hey Neo, thank you for the 11 months, man. About to be a year. Why you gotta bring up that fucking GSSR? But there was a lot of, there's a lot of good in what you said there, Neo. And there's a part in that I could do without. We can just edit that one out. But yeah, we'll play more Dark Souls soon. And I will get back to Dark Souls 2 because I said I would, and Cairo's gonna play it soon. So once maybe we finish that Cathedral of the Deep character, we do a stream or two of invading Cathedral of the Deep, then maybe we'll do Dark Souls 2. Just the beginning of Dark Souls 2 is so bad. It's so bad. Oh god, you have to just like grit your teeth and just get through the beginning monotony. Don't think you can charm these. Antoinette can though. Antoinette can charm anything. It doesn't have to be male or female. feel like the snake didn't get much in terms of cards, so the next hand will probably be mostly her cards. Actually, we have 2 snakes here, excuse me. Guess kill the higher health one. I kind of want to do that art chain though, just to, yeah, that's fine. Do it like that. Everybody gets their NP. You couldn't have crit though, lady? Like, if we got a good crit there, that thing would have either died or about to die. Or kill rate, like, drop like a rock after that first turn. I wish I could, the music that this is from, I wish I could play that game. It needs a proper online mode so badly. It's called Curse, and really unique game. Essentially, if you play it with like a group of friends, right? So you have 4 players. The game starts, all 4 like heroes are in a room, like in just some unknown fucked up dungeon, and like it's implied that madness has like set in, and so all of a sudden you're trying to kill each other, and each player only has 1 health. So if you get hit 1 time, you're just dead. That round will take like 10 seconds, if that, to finish. It's like it's not even supposed to be balanced. But then so whoever happens to be the 1 hero alive then starts like, you know, he's the hero and is gonna start playing through the game. And the other 3 are ghosts that can possess like a chair and throw it at them, or possess a monster and play as the monster, you know, activate traps, so they get to do stuff like that. And if any of the ghosts kill the hero, they become the hero, and then that hero becomes a ghost. And the objective is to get through all the dungeon floors and then be the hero that gets to kill the final boss at the end of the game. And the ghosts can help the boss a lot. It's a lot of fun. It's super interesting. And it's got really good music and atmosphere, and it's got good gameplay, honestly. It's pretty solid. So all these dots. I like the cube inside of an ice cube there. I'm guessing we have to kill everything. This is probably a real fight. Okay, he's got probably mental debuff immunity. Good times for Stheno. Stheno's got a brave chain, but I got all my NPs. That's a hard call. Okay, I definitely do that. No question. I think I do this, and I do Stheno's Brave Chain. I wait a second. Like, surely he's not gonna just instantly kill me, right? Like, I want that long-term value. It's 40, 50, 90. That's no joke. And then she doesn't crit. Oh, that really wasn't worth it anymore. Do I Stheno NP for the defense down? I think I do a Brave Chain with the snake here. Then I can battery. I don't remember the Christmas challenge quest really demanding a stall setup, but to each their own. I think that was the one with all the kids. And Nightingale. Now if I NP with Protoku, we're gonna whiff a good bit of damage. And I break without. Let's see what happens with this. 67k. I think he can do it. I'm gonna sneak in the one card though from her. Uh-oh. Whew. That was close. No, game! We haven't even, no one's dead. We have all of our NPs. Like, we have so much value left. You can't just end this stage after you break a health bar. Good God, man. I was so set up there. What a joke. Okay, this is probably Lanling and Horsebendo. This is a real boss. This is absolutely a real boss. Let me think. I want to say whatever the 1 to 3 star account did is definitely the meta thing to do, because that account was so bare bones it had no room to do something impractical. And I want to say we actually killed Lanling first. I don't remember why, but I think we did that. Did we though? I remember our setup was Arash, Lubu, David, and then it was stuff like Ushi, Bedivere, you know, strong independent stuff in the back. I remember that. That makes me, it must have been Horsebendo last, because I would have brought archers if it was Lanling last. Did we use Billy? I know we didn't use anything Grail, so I don't remember if we used Billy or not. Well, I'm gonna try killing Lanling first, because my memory is just telling me that's the thing to do, but I could be wrong. What shall we summon? Kinda wanna try Calamity Jane and see how she does. She's strong enough. Let me, if I'm gonna do that, let me actually set her up properly. Because she's good, but she's not that good. Oh, chat versus FGO. And this is the wrong UI. I am not about to give Calamity Jane faux pas. That is not in the works. Just in case Lanling has his invulnerability up when we have like crits or something. Do the attack removal star bomb. Lanling has attack up. What else? Maybe star bomb. Yeah, that can work out. Why does she have to be so rainbow colored? Why is that a thing? Why does she have a foam finger for a gun? That's the real question. Like, what the hell? It even says in her bio, like, that not regular Calamity Jane, the Servant Universe Calamity Jane has a regular gun. Like, you know, it's still a servant regular gun, but, you know, like one like Billy's. It says she has one, just doesn't, so you don't get that though. Yeah, they're totally gonna add Butch Cassidy someday, right? And Doc Holliday. Like, they're totally getting added, right? All those North American characters we get. I've seen people say that, like, they're too recent and you can't have Butch Cassidy or, like, Doc Holliday and stuff, but we have Billy the Kid and Calamity Jane, so, like, that is clearly not the case. David makes sense here. I don't want to die to the trash mobs, but I want to build up on them, like, if that's reasonable. Can I get away with Hans? They are riders, though. Could bring Martha. I wonder if that's enough healing. So I kind of want to stall a bit at the start. Make sure everybody gets their NP and is ready to go. me think. Honestly, I don't hate Atalante in the front because she can make a bunch of stars with her NP and the quick up, but it'd be kind of awkward. She's only good if she's there for the Lanling part. I mean, she's got the divinity boost, but I'm not sure that's worth it at the end. And I don't think she's worth it at the beginning just because David's gonna be better, I think. The first to die is most likely Martha, but with bad RNG, it could definitely be David. I mean, it could still be Calamity Jane, but Calamity Jane is the least likely to die. And she's also the most likely one that I'd use like the Mystic Code to try to keep alive and stuff like that. I'm gonna hope that Calamity Jane and David's enough to take out Lanling, so then everything else will be aimed at Horse Bindo. Units with their own self-survival, I think is important. Oh, this is a bad idea, but we'll see. I can feel the regret sinking in already. Oh yeah, Drifters has Butch Cassidy, and they actually did a pretty good job. If we could just have something like that and F go, I'd be quite happy. I think they did Butch Cassidy and I think Sundown Kid, but I think they got like no screen time in that story. Like they were only in it occasionally. Wait, why did I bring Martha? She's not a writer. I brought Castor Martha. Okay, well. Brace for impact. And she took all the cards, of course. Go for the weakest one. He is not gonna kill. I hope. Kill! Two of these things need to be dead. Guys, what are we doing? Oh. Dying is what? I think I'm gonna NP on Martha just to kind of stabilize it a bit here. No, that's too slow. I can maybe hold up. All right, we do this. No, I can do that. And then I'll kill it next turn. Oh my god, you're right, Beastly. I remember that. Oh man, that's a fate moment right there that needs to happen. Alright, at least we're in pretty good health. The next wave is tougher though. I might need to bring Spartacus or something. Why is Martha taking all of the cards at the worst times? And she just doesn't do a damn thing. Honestly, really only the weebs get screen time in Drifters, unfortunately. And then, you know, the antagonist of the week, essentially. The arc or whatever. Do I heal Martha? I don't want her to die yet. Fine. I don't know if that's worth it though. I need Martha to get her NP again, but that might not happen. I wanted to do her quick card for a little bit of NP game, but I don't think I should risk it. Alright, what can we do here? Also, I'm pretty sure there's some gimmicks, but we'll deal with that as they come. I remember what we did. We needed to build up a Rosh to have like more than 100% overcharge, and we broke both of their health bars right away. I'm pretty sure that was the shtick. Yeah, I definitely remember that. And that's why it was worth it to kill Lanling first, I think. Well, we're just gonna roll with it though. Guarded the defense down. I don't think I need the attack up from Martha. I just don't want her to die before casting it, because then I would lose the heal and everything else. Pretty sure we already listened to this song. Let's see here. I could NP with just David. And save Calamity Jane's. But I kind of want to use Calamity Jane so that I can use the first skill from Martha. Only 108k though. I'm sad to pass on that 70% quick card, but... David only has his own attack up. That's fine though. Hell, maybe I use Martha's skill on David. Alright, he's got taunt and defense up. And we have attack down. Well, we're gonna waste the battery, but I think it's for the best. I could do the Star Bomb now and try to get Calamity Jane crits, but I think we can do without. Pretty tanky there. Hey, Arjuna. Damn, still did plenty of damage though. That's pretty good for the attack down, defense up. Alright, now we're gonna explode. Yeah, I kinda figured. Oh, I like the 1, 2, 3 with the mini gifted subs. That was out of nowhere. Jesus. Thank you. How, I don't even know how many that was. 1, 2, 3, I think 5? Okay, geez, thank you. 5-star seems cool. I assume you're talking about the new... Oh yeah, my, B-Day. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, the new 5-star looks alright. I don't mind either of the new units, but I gotta see more of them. Shame I didn't have quick cards last turn. Yeah, yesterday was my first day. I didn't say a damn word about it, but so many people knew about it, and it's because people found out about it a few years ago in Genshin Impact. And yeah, you can never... Once the internet knows, They know. The main gift. Don't you start with the nickel spam. Everyone thinks they're so clever. I think we're gonna lose. I think we need to change our strategy a good bit here. Only that had crit. That was a 50% crit, and if it had crit, we would have broken right there. And Arjuna with the gifted sub. 83 gifted subs. My god, over the course of all this. And Ushi died without ever NPing. Fantastic. Yeah, we're gonna die too quick, I think. Man, I can't keep up with all the notifications now, and Arjuna's another gifted sub. But thank you. Everybody throwing shit at my face here. Can you stop with the survivability skills? I guess we use Stheno to remove the evade. If only Proto-Q had his NP right now. Oh, this is getting ugly. Okay, bang, bang, bang. Do that. It is pretty nice getting rid of the evade and then getting defense down. Man, if only that had broken, and if I had done Proto-Q's crit thing, that would have helped. So if we had broken in that one turn where we had the 50-50 crit, but we didn't, if that had crit, and then we used Proto-Q's first skill there, we would have broken that health bar right there. And then Proto-Q could NP right now into the next health bar. It's looking pretty bad now, because now we're kind of whiffing a turn, and so the divinity boost is going to go away. Very close to winning, but I think we're going to lose. Yeah, I think we could have won with this setup. I think it's better though if we use an AoE unit to start. Don't have enough stars to do anything too meaningful with Calamity Jane's third skill. If only this worked! It'd be so good! Like, I could just stun him right there, it'd be incredible. Guess I'll die. At least we have armor ignore, that's something. If Calamity Jane can live to use her NP, we might still win. If she gets her drain back next turn, so we can slow down the boss's NP. Just crit? No? Dude, we absolutely would have won if we had broken those two health bars like smoother, which we could have quite easily. So this is like our only chance here. We have to get our NP. It's either that or I do Buster Quick Art and then I try to kill with normal cards next turn. That's not impossible. Do I think that's more likely than getting our NP? Our 48%, we're not going to make enough stars to get our battery from our third skill. He has a defense up. He's also got a defense down. I think we're better off going for the kill. That's a hard call though. I can use Calamity Jane's third skill next turn on if Stheno gets all the cards. If they both live, whoever gets the Brave Chain, I'll do. Oh shit! I need Calamity Jane's Buster card, which means Stheno needs to die. Oh, thank God Stheno died. Stheno helping the team out quite a bit there. This is our only chance, is with the Pearson vulnerability. I think it's actually better in first place, I think, than in third. Because the first card bonus applies to itself, so it's a 50% up. I try to remember how big it is though in third place. It might be a bit bigger in third place. This is where I should have brought the sure hit command code, and I actually thought about it. Are you rolling for the new 5-star? We'll see. I wouldn't mind rolling a bit just because I want coup copies, but we'll see. It'll depend on like animations and the two characters' personalities and whatnot, so we'll see. 13k. Got attack up, crit damage up, 70% chance to crit. The crit, you definitely win. Woo! That was really close. That was really close. It didn't need to be if some things earlier had gone a little bit better, but I kind of wonder what kind of toolkit though the new 5-star is gonna have. And the 4-star is pretty cool. I mean, she's got an axe, so that's nice. I just wish she had like a more serious face. She's got dragons, an axe, and all that, and then she's got like this over-the-top cutesy face, and I'm like, please no. Like, can we just get like, you know, an animation update for Eric Bloodaxe? Can we? Cause there's an axe. Bog standard loop loop, yeah, probably. It's like the way of it these days. Cool, she got a helmet. That seems very unlikely. There are so few helmets in FGO, let alone on ladies. Like, that doesn't happen much. It's probably just trash. You have Beastly, the FP. Really, I should be giving myself FP because that can translate to coup coins, and I've got over 200,000 FP right now that I'm going to roll it in 6.5, and it could be a coup. It happens. And one more coup and I have enough coins to Grailing again. So they changed this UI and I hate it. So it used to be if you clicked a unit that was slotted, they'd always be in the far top left, but now they're just where they normally are. And so if you're clicking them to remove them, you have to actually find them and then click this to remove them. Where before you would just click the corner every time, and now they're in a different place depending on the unit. I absolutely hate it, and I have no idea why they changed that. Like, it's just so random. Out of all the UI things, no one complained about that. No one complained about that. So like, why is that the thing that gets changed? Like, so freaking random. Stheno DPS, let's go. Okay, you need to bring George for Bond. Guess Hans for Bond isn't bad either. And I don't remember them even announcing that UI change, so it was like a sleeper thing, or it was an accident, I don't know. But maybe they announced it and I just didn't pay attention. Okay. Only 2 waves. Let's go ahead and NP. Okay, the back one lived, which is actually good, because I get my quick card. That's like exactly what I wanted to have happen right there. Optimal. Why is this a stage? Well, time to beat him up the old-fashioned way. Bet I don't have any art cards. Pretty bad change. Like, I can't think of any positive to it. It just makes everything slower. Like, why do I want to seek out where the unit is if I want to unselect them? Like, why? Why would anyone want to do that? Pretty rare that games find ways to make their UI worse, but leave it to FGO. I'm normally annoyed with them not making it better, not them actually making it worse, but they found a way. But hey, they're posting to hire a new UI lead, so I think they're aware of how bad their UI is. Hopefully, it'll take a while for that to kind of kick in, but I'm hopeful that it will get better. Weird stage. Let's see, next major boss is, actually might be Lanling on his own. And then, you. It's not for a little bit. And there's like the tiger tank coming up. Definitely remember that. And there's like red hair and that kind of stuff, but that's not like a full-on boss. That's just like silly stuff. That probably is soon, actually. I do think red hair is coming up. And Chen Gong plays such a minor role in Lostbelt 3, it's a shame. It wasn't playable back then either. Yeah, Chen Gong was NPC only for a while. Oh hi, it's red hair. I kind of wish I had brought a slightly better team now, but we'll make do. Spartacus is incredibly useless here. Oh, might as well blast him. Actually, I don't think I want to do the Buster Chain. I want the Sanson's NP gain. $27K, that is nothing. Sanson with the big damage. That is pathetic. 13 stars. Incredible. And then red hair just attacks Sanson and no one else. Should have swapped those Stheno cards around because of the mana code. Not a big deal though. 110. Can you hit someone that is not Sanson? He has attacked 5 times in 2 turns, and all 5 attacks have been on Sanson. The only good news here is we got NP gain because of it, although not on the first one. I wish I had Stheno's NP for the turn we braked in case he like quick charges or something. Oh, right. A billion quick up. What's funny is if you have 100 face, he still won't crit. Like if you do the crit down nonsense. Come on, we gotta get another Sanson NP and give him the attack up from the Mystic Code. Work with me, game. Oh, there's some good jazz music out there. It's not my favorite genre, and there are times that I find it kind of annoying, but I've definitely heard some good stuff. Funnily enough, I really like saxophone a lot, but I actually like it most when it's not used in jazz. And then, again, there's exceptions, and there's times I've heard it in jazz where it's great. But I wish saxophone was used in other genres more, which is a shame because it almost never is. And I will be right back. I need to grab water, and I'm just gonna, you know, I know Stheno's gonna be dead when I come back. I'm unaware of this. I was actually listening to some music last night that was like all saxophone remixes that this guy did of like Toho songs and stuff like that. And that was pretty good actually. So kind of interesting timing that. Alright, Sanson is skill sealed. Not that his skills do anything, but you know. Wow, Stheno is alive. What the hell? Guess red hair, even as a boss, doesn't have a particularly high attack stat. What do we do here with Kojiro? Do damage and get our NP. Can Stheno survive until the end? Kojiro will kill the boss next turn, even if the boss evades. Nice try, nerd. Well, Stheno actually lives. Chris red hair. I don't think saxophone is only good in jazz. I actually could give you all kinds of. I should make a playlist sometime of all the saxophone music I've found that's not jazz and is good. There's quite. It's hard to find, but it is definitely out there. I think saxophone is a really versatile instrument actually, and it just sounds good. Like literally any good melody played by a saxophone generally sounds good. I actually think the reason people think it has to be used in jazz is because it's so, people's like image of jazz is so connected to the saxophone. If they hear the saxophone, they just assume it's jazz, even if it's not. I think that is actually the root of the issue. I think, like, absolutely. Like anytime anyone hears literally any style of melody with a saxophone, like, oh, it's jazz. It's like that. It's silly. That's like saying an electric guitar can only be used for rock and roll, which that's just not true. Like obviously it's good with rock, but you know, music is a lot more versatile than that. The human voice doesn't have to be used for opera, right? It doesn't have to be used for pop. It can. Meet comedic. Alright, are we fighting red hair again? I think we might be. Go with 70, 100 phase, which is probably stronger than 100 Sanson. Actually, not probably. I know for a fact that it is in like 90% of circumstances. I'm sure there's some like bizarre debuff based boss fight where Sanson's debuff clear would make him better, but that's about it. Dude, there is a, this is so random, but I'm talking about saxophone. There is a song from an old Sonic, like, cartoon movie or something. It's got like a battle theme that's with the saxophone. That's actually pretty good. That is such a random ass example, but that's where my mind wanders sometimes. Two waves. This one's kind of a little chunky on these enemies. I like a lot of brass instruments though. There's a lot of good stuff. And then cello. Oh man, the cello is great. That's another instrument that I don't think it's used in different genres enough. And it's so good when it is, though. Like, god damn, the cello is good. And I like the cello just fine when it's used in classical stuff. That's great, no problem. But just like the saxophone sounds good in jazz. But I've heard some stuff where people experiment with cello in like different genres of music and like anime and video games even, and it can sound really good. I remember there's some guys on YouTube, that's what they do. They do a lot of cello stuff. I think they're pretty famous too, but I can't remember who that is off the top of my head, but I remember that being a thing. I remember another random example, but I would play this song, but it would get copyrighted. But there's a battle theme in the Haruki anime that was very heavily cello based, and that was really, really, really good. But that will get DMCA copyrighted so fast. Yeah, I find when people want to use a lot of like strings outside of more classical settings, it's way more common for it to be like violin and stuff like that than it is to be cello. But no offense to violin, and if there's any violin players out there, you know, no hate, but I like the cello quite a bit more than the violin. And you know, there are times I think the violin is a really good choice for certain things and sounds great, but I am a huge cello fan. 95%. Probably should have done her first skill a while ago and she'd have her NP already. What do you mean 100 Face doesn't have divinity? Nonsense. Can I get away with not doing the first card art bonus? Probably, but there's no reason to. And I'm a big fan of drums too. Drums, like, they're another really versatile instrument that don't get enough credit. Like, they don't have to just be the backbone. Like, they don't at all. They can be a very good solo instrument. I think like Neil Peart, he did such a good job with drums and showing that they could do a lot more than like how people typically see them. Alright, can I kill them both? Potentially. Piano's good. I like a lot of instruments, right? Music, when done well, is nice. Yeah, piano's nice. Piano thankfully gets its due. It definitely gets its due. It gets used in a lot of different genres. It gets used in jazz, it gets used in more unique, you know, individual stuff. Like in video games or what have you, it gets used in classical, you get piano solos, you get piano mixed with rock, right? Piano gets used everywhere, right? It's a very famous instrument. A lot of people, when they want to, you know, mix in something different, it's very common they'll turn to the piano, which is fine. Piano's great, but I do wish you saw that kind of treatment for some other instruments out there. But yeah, it is definitely the classical instrument that has done the best in the modern era, I would say. It has had no problem surviving the modern era, where I actually feel like cello in like 60 years is probably going to be dead outside of like classical music. That's about all you'll see it in. Like in every blue moon, maybe someone digs it up for something, but I don't think cello is going to last the ages, which it makes me very sad because it's so good, but it's really not, doesn't grab the mainstream attention too much. But you never know. Mainstream taste can go in waves. Yeah, violin will survive, I would say. I don't think it'll survive as well as piano, but I do think the violin will survive. It's a lot more mainstream than in cello. Organ is good stuff. Organ is some... I like organ a lot. It's like piano plus. Although it's kind of like overly grandiose sometimes, but it works for a lot of stuff. The nice thing about pianos, though, is they translate so well into technology, you don't even need a proper piano anymore. Some people like it just for, like, the aesthetic and very specific tuning you want to do, but you can honestly do that on a computer now, and you can do pretty specific types of tuning and stuff on a computer. People, like, find like that doesn't have an authentic feeling anymore, but I don't really care about that, man. Music is music, and I know a lot of, like, digital artists that do it all digitally, and they just sound fucking incredible, and it's like, and I know, of course, I know people that sound incredible that do it the old-fashioned way, but honestly, it doesn't matter to me if, you know, if it's a piano through a keyboard or it's a normal piano, right? It does not make a difference to me. What matters is the artistry behind it. Okay, I do think Lanling's fight is coming up. Just finished Lostbelt 3 today. I don't know if we'll finish it today, but we're making our way. The one that I really want to get through, though, is Lostbelt 4, because then I can roll first Philippius. I need that. Need some Snake Doctor in our lives. Deal with those debuffs. He's Phantom. His account doesn't have Phantom, are you kidding me? We don't have Mozart, Coup, 100 Face, and we think we're gonna have Phantom. Get real. Dude, I remember when they did the Shiki rerun, and Shiki uses Void Dust. And they give you Void Dust in the K&K event, and I used it on Phantom of the Opera instead of Shiki. And I did that because I knew my chat wanted to see it. That's when we got like Phantom to like 888, and it took a while to get his other skills up after that, but oh man. It was worth it though. We made that that Phantom solo video that I really am happy with. Might kill 2 here, probably not, we'll see. Who will you use against elite students? Actually, if I had him, I would use him there. Like, if I could snap my fingers and this account got a free 10-10-10 Phantom, level 65, 1k foe, and all that, I would use him there. Like, he would make the cut on this account. And I'm aware I should have swapped those art cards around, but I didn't think it was gonna matter. Sadly, it might have mattered because we didn't get our MP right there. And then we got a pretty crappy hand for doing damage. And we might have it. All the Stheno. Nope! I'm healing just out of principle. We are getting pretty far along though. We've got like Lanling, then you, and then some like nonsense, and I think it is Lee students. And there's some Tiger tanks mixed in there here and there. The Lostbelt 3 is not actually that long. I wish we had K-scope instead of Cope scope. It would make, we'd get a nice extra chunk of damage on Spartacus and Arash when we're clearing AoE stuff. I like the fights with Spindo, they're fun. They're a bit hard, obviously, but oh crap, we need a the Babbage's interlude to get his MP upgrade, because we actually kind of need him for that final fight. I kind of forgot about that. I can always summon a friend's Babbage if we don't want to get carried by, like, Plot Monk. Plot Monk makes that fight so much easier. It just deletes you, and you get taunt. I actually really like this song for this background, like the stage background. Actually works really well. Yeah, that'd probably be 45k or so if we had K-Scope instead. Depending on the level of it. Potentially even more than that. Not a single crit. 31 stars. Better than Sanson. Although not by as much as one would hope. Probably should have done Stheno's card last, actually. Yeah, I think we would have actually killed all three of them if I'd swapped Spartacus and Stheno's cards around. Now I want Spartacus not to do enough damage here. Ooh! That was close. I wish the raid event wasn't happening when everyone's asleep. That would be great. I doubt I'll get to do a single raid while they're live, unless one of them just happens to last way longer, or they have more health than I'm thinking, but I think I'm gonna miss every single one of them. Like, these start at 4 a.m. for me, and they're gonna die in a few hours for sure. Let's see. I don't really feel like I have too many FGO accounts because I just play the ones that I want to play at the time. You know, as I'm playing the Stheno account, I'm not playing the Herc account. You know, it's just the take turns. The only one I keep up with is my main account. And then I just play the other ones when I want to play a new account, go through the story again, or focus on something different. The thing is, I don't think they want these raids to last very long. It's not like different raids they have different goals for, right? Some of them they want to be very long lasting and whatnot, but there's a new raid every single day. Like every 24 hours there's a new raid. And that means they absolutely want each raid easily dying within 24 hours. And I think they're gonna lowball it quite a bit. So I mark my words, I do not think any of the raids are gonna last. I think, because these aren't supposed to. Like, they're not supposed to. If they wanted these raids to last, there would be like a few days in between each raid, right? But that's not what they're doing. So I think they're gonna like explode, and they're not gonna last long at all. And they make you fight these dolls like a trillion times in a row here. The only way I think the raids will last a while is if they overestimate just how much whales can do in a few hours. Because I think they said they wanted the raids to last about 6 hours, which, I mean, if that's true, then I'm going to miss every single one of them. But because of that, though, I actually suspect they'll last less than 6 hours, unless the devs, like, overestimate the whales and stuff. Well, the good one they just did is because it was a rerun and they actually lowered the health of each of the raids. So those just did not last. This is probably Lanling, and I don't think this is a very serious fight ultimately with him, but let's take it a wee bit seriously just in case I am wrong. Not be too dumb. Spartacus might be unnecessary, but I think it's okay. But I normally go to bed at like 4 a.m. Trying to get it to be a bit earlier. I never even wanted it to be that late, but just because of my health issues. What always happens is I work really hard to get my sleep schedule like a bit more back, and then I have breathing issues at night, and that keeps me up, and then it just pushes my sleep schedule back every time. But right now, I go to bed about 4 a.m., and that's when the raids start. And so, you know, I'm gonna sleep for 6.5 to 7.5 hours generally. You know, if things go well, and I think the raids will be done by then every single time. And that maybe one time I can do like 2 raids before it ends, but yeah, I don't see that happening. And even if I went to bed earlier, like I went to bed, you know, at 2 a.m. or 1 a.m., I think it'd still pretty much always miss them. Like, I don't see them lasting. They probably will let you do the raid one time though, like the story version of it, but normally the story version of it is way easier. That's not always true. Sometimes the story version is exactly the same, but I am not holding my breath on that one. Chiron's gonna have a better shot at it because he's West Coast, so he could actually stay up and do some of them before going to bed. Or I can't really do that, it's too late. Yep, there he is. I think you have to kill all of his health bars here. Alright. Do I NP? And even though I've only got 1 Calamity Jane card, that's probably good enough. I wish we had Hans for the stars. Look at him guarding. Stheno probably makes more cards than Calamity Jane, so we'll put her card last. I didn't guard the art or quick resist down because I want the extra stars. Yeah, we get overkill bonus too, that helps. 32. Not enough to get our battery, but it's still decent. Oh my god, don't you fucking do that. Look at him critting all the time. Doesn't even have a crit buff. What a guy. Well, I was gonna save Charm, but Stheno's not. I was gonna save it till he had his NP to stall it out one more turn. But we're not living that long. Why do I have a Stheno account, chat? Why do I do that? He doesn't have mental debuff immunity, by the way. He's not one of those. Well, she's probably dead. Okay, bang 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 time. If our crits get anything done. Not bad. Not enough, but not bad. Oh yeah, the music new on that one. I can probably break here. Spartacus is never going to use his NP unless he somehow survives this turn. Which I don't think he will. Art down. Joke's on you, none of us are art units. Wow, Spartacus lived. That is so unlikely. Like, Stheno should have, on paper, Stheno's odds of survival there were so much higher. She had more health, and she wasn't taking double damage. I guess I overcharge Calamity Jane. I think it makes her defense down bigger. We might get him here. I don't think quite though. Guarded it. Damn it. That'd have been so close. There's that again. Come on, Buster card. Well, there goes Spartacus. Just a matter of time, really. Damn, no Buster card. Kind of sad the fight's about to end. We could have kept going for a good bit. Give the kill to David. I think he just comes back to full health, but then the fight ends. It's like the lore thing. He's about to go U mode. Song is from Armored Core. It's Red Butterfly. From Armored Core Nexus, specifically. Yeah, I like Nexus's OST. It doesn't have as many, like, bangers, like, for Answer, but it still has a lot. It really does. Their sound team just killed it with For Answer, man. They did such a good job there. A lot of variety too. But really, most of the Armored Core games have top tier as hell soundtracks. I think this is the U fight that you can solo with any unit in the entire game, and I'm not exaggerating. A level 1 Benkei can solo this stage. Let's see, who gets the honors? I guess we give it to Stheno. That's gonna take forever because she doesn't do damage with her NP and everything else, but it is the Stheno account, so. Let's see, these obviously will do the trick. Do I have any other ones that remove debuffs right now? Don't have the sheep. And if one of these new ones does it, I wouldn't remember, so this might actually remove... I think it just heals the team for 150, I think it's what that one does. Yeah, I can even see the text for that. I really should unlock her other cards, just because Stheno account. Does the Abigail one remove stuff? Let's see. I don't remember. This one removes an attack buff. Then there's this one. It looks like it does something with like 1 debuff or some nonsense. You know what? Well, we got the wiggle room to use it, so we'll equip it to something and just see what happens. Is there anything damagey I can do on my Buster? Anti-female. There we go. That'll speed it up ever so slightly. If I remember correctly, the hard part about doing this is just getting your teammates to die. That's like the only issue here. There's something you can do to make it easier, but I don't remember what that is. You could always give them like Black Grail or the Knight or something like that. I don't think they need to have Taunt. She's an assassin, so riders are good, berserkers are good. He's got 1,500 health, 1,300 health, 1,200 health. There we go. Do I have Black Grail? Let's see here. It's either Black Grail or the Knight. Either one of those. Black Grail. I don't think I do. We got Heaven's Feel. That's not quite the right one though. Do we have the Knight? We have the Knight. There we go. That'll help. And then Stheno's in thingy doesn't matter at all. It doesn't do a damn thing. I guess just damage on her. It's either that or like to make the beginning safer, you do that to make sure you don't, like something doesn't, like weird luck doesn't happen and you don't die. The problem is it's full of health stats. 200 flat damage though. Alright, in honor of Cain, I don't know why I almost said it right there. I was even in my head thinking of don't say it, say like CD instead, and I almost just said it. Jesus Christ. But I blame Red for that. Anyway, but yeah, Canis CD will use the CE here. These aren't gonna matter at all. Shin Gong is probably really good for this stage. That's another way to make it easier. I didn't say it, Lost. I know that's why. No, I wasn't cheating. That was totally normal. I resent that. I resent that. At least someone good got the gifted sub, but that wasn't legit. This is bullshit. Baby rage. All right. Time to slug our way through this. Do I even bother taunting? I guess. I don't remember if that matters or not, but great hand, great hand. Wait, isn't taunting bad? I think taunting is bad. What happens if I drain her? I gotta know. I gotta know. How did Stheno get so few cards in the opening two hands? I shall probably NP here. Bring on the dots. You're bullshit. Very mature, Lost. Yeah, I think I shouldn't have taunted. Because there's a chance that she would have attacked. What's her face here? Loom. So if she attacks Loom here, we'll be set though. Oh good. Oh no, that's the extra attack. No, never mind. Kind of weird how she does that. Oh yeah, Stheno's got Goddess Essence, so she's actually really likely to resist the debuff anyway, which is the only way you could possibly die, but with the command code, you literally cannot lose the stage. I don't think I even bother to NP unless she has buffs or something. We're gonna be here for a minute though. Yeah, they're making an official plushie. That's like the only Fate merchandise I'm gonna actually put effort into trying to get, but I have a feeling it's gonna be ludicrously expensive and really hard to get overseas, so it might not work out. Alright, we'll test this and see if it removes. Wait, did I get the debuff? I did not. Well, we'll test it some other time. Follow the crits, I suppose. Also, the plushie, they're not giving the like proper details about it until next year, early next year. I think it's like late January. I don't know why I bothered to heal there. That's not gonna do anything. You know what? We'll do our MP. Get the defense down. It might actually be worth casting because of that. I wish we had crit there. Oh yeah, she clears the defense down. If it only lasts one turn, it's not worth it then. The only way it's worth it is if it lasts multiple turns. Not much I can do about that. Alright, we finally got the dot, so we can test this. So we'll do art first, and in case it doesn't work, I'll do the quick so we don't die. Nope. I don't know what it does, but it's not that. It might be a specific kind of debuff that it can remove, and it's just not docked. Which isn't surprising because they've already added quite a few things that do remove dots. The defense debuff? That's actually not too bad. I mean, like, there are fights where defense debuffs can really add up and be obnoxious, so... Not bad for, I think, a 3-star command code. The main thing is, any account now can get the command code that removes any debuff, like you can get it from the shop now. Though those more niche ones are definitely less good, unless you want like a full deck of anti-debuff, which you do want occasionally. Really, I should have equipped those command codes to more cards. That way I didn't have to think about what cards I was clicking. I don't want to accidentally not use it, but then also I have to pay attention to if I actually got the debuff or not. That's Goddess Essence. Where if I just put like the dot removal on all 3 quick cards, I'd be like, okay, just click a quick card every turn and you're gonna be fine no matter what. But now I have to like actually pay attention a little bit. If I can get my hands on a fluffy plushie, I'll put it on my desk. That'd be great. This is such a silly fight. I did this with a level 1 Spartacus once. And somebody did it with a level 1 Medusa, and Medusa's being counterclassed, and they did that to basically prove that you can do it with anything. And you don't need some like rare command code, right? You need the generic one from FP Summon. So anybody can do it. Level 1 Benkei, oh lord. I've done this fight normally once, and it's still not really that hard, honestly. There's still a lot in your favor. Pretty easy to take advantage of the guts thing. But yeah, if you solo, there's no losing. You know, Stheno is actually taller than I thought. Either that or you is shorter than I thought. At least we got this attack up. It's actually doing a lot of work over the course of this fight. It's definitely helping. I wish we got a more serious version of Stheno. There's actually some pretty interesting stuff with some of her myths that you could like expand upon. Like she was the only Gorgon sister that survived and stuff. Like, I think it's Grand Blue Fantasy. They have Stheno, but she's like more badass looking. Like she's like an adult. Like, you know, she's ready to go fight. Not whatever the hell this is. And Stheno is so weak lore-wise in Fate. Can't do shit. I don't think I've seen Medusa in Grand Blue Fantasy. Let's look this up. Let's see what they got. Am I about to be disappointed? Oh no. That's actually what I would expect out of Fate. See, that's not ideal. That's not ideal. That's what I would expect out of Fate. Yeah, I don't have the dot. Still gonna click the thing just to get in the habit of it. So yeah, you can't have you can't have all three of them be cool. That's not possible apparently. I actually don't know what Stheno looks like, but I don't Uriel, that's the one. But I don't know if I want to. We're almost there, chat. So the heal and evade would do something if I couldn't get rid of the dot every turn. Because if you healed, it'd be enough for the dot not to proc guts. And then the same thing for the evade, where if guts went off, you wouldn't die because you have the evade there. So it's like out buttons. Here's Uriel. All right, let's see. That's not too bad. I mean, that is significantly better than what Fate has. It's definitely better than Medusa. It is kind of funny though that they did like the opposite of FGO.
Huh?
Don't know if I have the dot or not, so play it safe. And I haven't actually seen Tiamat in Grand Blue. I know she's like a major boss at some point, but I haven't actually seen the design. I've listened to the soundtrack. I've heard her. It's on the playlist here. But yeah, I haven't actually seen her design. Let me look that up real quick. Let's see what we got. Oh, I have seen this actually. I just forgot. That's alright. That still works. Not like amazing. Not 10 out of 10 or anything, but acceptable. I know they've got a lot of Arthurian legend stuff too. I think they might have the Green Knight. I have to look, but I think they might have the Green Knight. And if that's the case, I'm mad. Like, goddamn it, FGO. What makes me more like it's just so annoying with FGO because they've mentioned the Green Knight, both inside of FGO and out in other Fate media, right? So they've acknowledged his existence, but I don't know if they're ever gonna do anything with it. Probably win next turn with that attack up. Just gonna mess with the boss because I can. Don't have the dot. I feel like we haven't gotten the dot very many times because of the Goddess Essence thing. We might not win next turn. I think I'd have to triple crit again. I'm overestimating my damn. I'll be close. 38k. Got our divinity attack up thing. The most damage I can do. something well, there we go. I was gonna say we need one crit. What is going on? What? Why can't we do that in harder content? We just triple crit with like garbage crit chances. Well, we super won there. Yeah, Grand Blue Fantasy actually though does not, it's not like Fate where all the characters are based off legend and stuff. That's just like some of the kingdoms and stuff are, and they kind of take inspiration from legends for certain characters and stuff. But they have a lot of characters that have nothing to do with any like myths or historical figures and stuff. They do pull on that stuff plenty, but it's not like Fate where it's like their whole gimmick, right? It's just sometimes they do that. Like, so many characters in that game are just like, you know, Bob from down the street. They don't normally, people say they poach names, but not really. I've looked into it, and they don't always pull from the source material, like, as much as Fate does. But they normally reference it in one way or another. Like even with Tiamat, they do. People say, like, they don't really reference Tiamat, like, what she's actually based on, but they do. I think most people just don't know enough about Tiamat to get it. Like, very much so, though, they don't always base them on, like, what their namesake is, like Fate does. But sometimes they do, and even when they don't, they normally make some kind of reference. Alright, I think there's Tiger Tank coming up. A few of them, honestly. And then I think it's like you start heading towards the home stretch. Yeah, we got a little bit of side nonsense here, but we're actually getting close to the big boy stuff. I can't wait to play the Herc account again, because we've got that NP5 Lion King. You know what? I want to summon Percival. We'll give him Golden Sumo. Either that or Super Romulus. But already got Percival set up, so we'll go with that. Who needs Bond? I don't think we're gonna need the last slot. Babbage already got his for his strengthening quests. Probably Beowulf then, because I don't remember if he needs any Bond for any of his upgrades, but it wouldn't shock me if he does. So I might as well start working on that. Really, I should have been working on that sooner, but oh well. Nothing like Cope Scope on a level 50 Beowulf. The Monster Hunter kind of Grand Blue Fantasy game is not out yet. They're taking their time with it, with the development from what I've seen. It looks good though, like it does. I'll probably play it as long as it doesn't come out at like a really bad time and I'm playing something else. But I'll give it a go. I think they've handled their IP very well, and it looks like Dungeon Fighter is starting to try to use their IP the same way. I don't know what took Dungeon Fighter so long, though. A lot of people don't know this because it's not it is big in the West, but it's not as big in the West. Dungeon Fighter is one of the most popular games on planet Earth. And actually, I think for a while it was the most popular game, and it actually still might be. Like, it is huge globally. Like, it's just absolutely massive. And it's been that way for a long time. Like, Dungeon Fighter is an old game, and it's been incredibly popular for so long. And they're just now starting to really try to branch out with their IP and use it for more stuff to bring more people in and make... And it's a good move. I'm glad this is starting to catch on a little bit. Because what's been very common with popular IPs is they'll make another game, like an offshoot, but it's like cheap garbage. It's not actually a good game in whatever genre it is. But we're starting to see stuff like with Dungeon Fighter and with Grand Blue Fantasy and stuff, we're starting to see people like branch out with their IPs and make good games in their universe. Because a lot of times people like a universe or whatever and they want, you know, more from it, but not necessarily in that one genre that the game is in. But yeah, they got that Dungeon Fighter fighting game, and then they've got like a 3D like dungeon open world like brawler game kind of. It's kind of like Vindictus, honestly. It's the best comparison I can think of. That one's got a ways to go, I think, before its development's finished, but it looks pretty interesting too. I'll probably check it out. Oh well, that is the Tiger Tank. Who do we give the battery per turn to? Probably Protoku. And then I guess we'll taunt just to get the NP gain going. Yeah, Project BBQ is its code name, which is so bizarre. It's got nothing to do with what the name implies there. But it looks good. Like, it looks like I like games like that, and as long as it has good boss fights that aren't easy, you know, easy mode trash, I'll be game for it. Everyone should get their NP next turn. Yeah, unfortunately, anytime Fate has branched out into other games, because they did that before FGO even. FGO's not their first video game. They've always been shovelware. Always. They've always been shovelware. Like Fate Extra's gameplay is just atrocious, and it's incredibly lazy and simplistic and just bad. You know, Extella is, even for a Dynasty Warriors game, Extella and Extella Link are brain dead. There was actually another Fate mobile game before FGO, and it was atrocious. It is so hard to find footage of that game because it was so short-lived. Yeah, that was a thing. Unlimited Codes is jank as hell and is terribly balanced, but that's I'll give them a pass on that one because that was before Fate was even a big IP. That was just kind of a random thing that they did. It's not quite the same. Do I just NP with everybody? Why not? But yeah, I've always wanted Fate to like sit down and make a good game. Like if they want to make an action game like Neo or Ninja Gaiden or whatever, do it, but do it proper. Don't phone it in. If they want to do like a turn-based RPG or something, do it proper. Don't make the fucking combat system paper, rock, scissors. Like, are you kidding me? Right? Because there's no reason they can't. They've got the money at this point where they could hire pretty much whatever developer they want. And you know, they've got the budget to, you know, do a proper development cycle and all that. I feel like they're normally lazy and they kind of want to get the game out kind of quick and just make a profit, you know, just make a buck, because the IP carries them so hard. Because Extella Link is not a very good game, even for a Dynasty Warriors game. It's not very good, and but it still sold decently well. It didn't sell like amazing, but it sold well enough, and its development cost was tiny, so. You know, it works for them, but I think they would make more money if they actually put in effort. I think they can have the best of both worlds. They've got the backbone budget, they've got the popular IP. If you make a good game, you know, it's going to sell beyond just the Fate fans. Just like the Grand Blue Fantasy fighting game sold to people that had never even heard of Grand Blue Fantasy. Right, and that's surely going to happen with this Dungeon Fighter game. I've already seen it because they did like a little beta test for that Dungeon Fighter fighting game. And loads of people are playing it that have never even heard of Dungeon Fighter and are enjoying it, and whatnot. So it's like they're going to be successful. And yeah, Fate absolutely has a bad reputation right now, I would say, for video games outside of the Fate community anyway. Yeah, Fate really needs to invest in making a good fighting game, like a real proper good fighting game. You know, they could do a good Dynasty Warriors game. Like, I don't think that's the best fit for Fate, but they could do that. They could easily do a third-person action game, like, you know, Ninja Gaiden, Devil May Cry, or even Monster Hunter stuff. So yeah, they can do that stuff too if they want to. They can do turn-based stuff, no problem. They can do all kinds. I mean, hell, they can do real-time strategy if they wanted to. Like, their IP can fit into a lot of things. Especially how they've kind of expanded on, like, how the servants work beyond just, like, Fate Stay Night and everything. It'd be really easy for them to do stuff. And Percival's got a couple of dots on him there. Save his ass here. A lot of my IRL fake friends refused to play FGO because they thought it was shovelware. I can't blame them. Yeah, that's a bad feeling. Imagine liking Fate and then you don't even want to play the Fate games that are out there. That was like everyone when FGO first launched because it was such a catastrophe when it first came out. Like, it's not perfect now by any means. Like, they have so many problems now, but it was so much worse at the beginning. Percival face tanking for days here. Shame he didn't get his NP right there. Thankfully, I think he can just kill it. I wish someone had gotten a Buster card, but I think we're alright. Yep. I need to try Fury again. It looked really fun, but it didn't run very well back when I played it. That was so long ago, though. I had like optimization issues on my computer, and also the rainbow colors like give me a seizure, which is not the best. But it looks neat. It is so silly that one of the first games they made where they put like effort into it, kind of, was Extella, like Dynasty Warriors, really. It's very common though for people that want to like shovelware their IP to pick Dynasty Warrior style games, because you don't have to worry about balance or good hitboxes or tight combat mechanics. You can kind of just give the different characters flashy animations that, like, you know, kind of vaguely represent what they do lore-wise, and it doesn't really matter if, like, their frame data is good, or if the enemies are well designed, or if the boss fights are fair. You don't have to worry about that. You can just make... You don't need to be, like, a really know-how dev, right? You can kind of just generically make animations, and it is what it is. Like, it's... Now, if you want to make a really good Dynasty Warriors game, you need to do more than that, absolutely, but Stella Link did not, so... Yeah, it's true, you could use Extella to get some voice lines for FGO videos. Sadly, a lot of my favorite characters aren't in Extella Link, so I don't get a whole lot out of that, but that is indeed a thing. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna have Canis NP here. Do I do quick and waste my attack up for stars? Yep. Probably should have hit the 32k one, but I don't think it's gonna matter. I think they will add Coral if they ever have a reason where they can use him as a major antagonist. Like that, they just don't like adding the big antagonists unless they're actually an antagonist in that show. Oh, Fate Extra. Good times. Canis is probably gonna overkill here. Oh shit, Protoku, why? I could have at least killed two of them if I had known how that was gonna go. Atlas was probably not the right Mystic Code choice. Dude, the marketing for Fate Extra was so disingenuous. And it's because they didn't have faith that they could sell it if people didn't think it was Fate Stay Night. I can't believe the remake of Extra still has paper, rock, scissors, dude. But deck building paper, rock, scissors. I'm like, are you kidding me? So you pick how many rocks and scissors and papers in your deck. It's ridiculous. Everything about that game looks like, and I don't know for sure because it's not out yet, but it looks like almost everything I hate in games, where like you do all this like false depth, where you try to make people think they're making choices and oh, it's all working out, but you know, it's just autopilot. You don't with extra steps. That's FGO's events most of the time. Like that whole radar thing in 4.5, that didn't mean anything. It's still completely linear how you progress through that event, and you're just farming like any other event, right? There was nothing special about it. Now FGO has done some events where they actually mix things up, like with Setsuban and stuff like that. But generally, FGO's air quotes like event gimmicks or just like illusion of choice or illusion of some kind of new, fresh mechanic when it's just same old, same old. Like they don't put yeah, and Requiem is a good example. Completely linear. The board game was just fluff. It didn't actually mean anything, and the dice rolling was bullshit. Like it's not real, right? It's an illusion. You're not actually playing a board game. Not even close. And I guess if you're dumb and you don't realize it, right? You don't see behind the curtain. Some people might like get wrapped up in the illusion, but that don't work on me at all. And it's so easy for me to see that kind of shallow crap, and then I hate it. Sometimes I guess ignorance is bliss, but I think a lot of people can see through that like shallow crap that FGO does. There's only a few people on Copium that act like some of the event gimmicks are like big and meaningful, but not a lot. Yeah, maze event also completely linear. It's not like you're making meaningful choices if you go left or right, right? It doesn't matter at all. You're just generically going through each floor. It's just like window dressing. Do I NP this? Yeah, why not? But there have been a few events where they do meaningful stuff. I would say Grail fronts are meaningful, even though I don't think Grail fronts are very fleshed out. I don't think it's that good of an alternate game mode. It's also not permanent. But it is different. It isn't just typical FGO gameplay. You know, like it or not, shallow or not, it's still genuinely something different. Setsuban style events are genuinely something different. I wish they'd make them a bit harder though, so the gimmick mattered more. But a little bit less filler, a little bit more real content for those events would go a long way. But those are legitimately different. And there's been events that are fun, like Good of Final. They're not actually different, but they do have fun bosses, and they came up with smart stuff with like the story supports making it easier for new players, or you can ignore the story support if you want it to be harder, right? Like that's all good. I'm trying to think if there's any other event styles though that were legitimately something different and it wasn't just like window dressing. Let's see. I'm not thinking of a lot, to be honest. I can think of like, you know, boss fights that had fun gimmicks and all that, but that's not really event stuff. I don't know, chat, if you have any ideas, shoot them at me, because I other than Setsuban and Grail fronts, I really don't have anything. That's about all. I don't know, maybe Solomon, just because it was the story, right? Like, and it's permanent, but I don't know if that really counts. No, definitely not Nerofest. That's literally the same shit. It's just, you're just farming free quests to get lottery stuff like you would farm anything else to like buy stuff from a shop. That's the only thing about lottery events is you can farm more than normal, right? But it's not actually any different. Okay, so Go West actually is kind of different, but in a really bad way. Like Go West is like legitimately changing like what you do to farm something to get the items to allow you to farm what you actually want to farm, but that's awful. Like that was so bad. That is different in a very bad way. God, that event was so stupid. The thing is, challenge quests are just boss fights, and they're not. You don't even need to do them to progress the event. Like that does not count because like Good of Final has boss fights. You know, a lot more of them than normal, scattered throughout. But that doesn't change how you actually play the event and what you're actually doing. And it's actually, if anything, Good of Final is more unique because you at least had to beat the bosses. They were necessary to beat, not all of them, but most of them. Where Nero Fest are completely optional and it's just like a summon ticket. Whoopsie-doo, it doesn't actually matter very much. And it's not tied to event progression in any way. Endless Wave quests, though, I think count under like a stage gimmick, right? And they absolutely can make good stage gimmicks. I mean, some of the old Halloween events, for God's sakes, did stuff like you could only bring male servants and things like that, right? And you've got good challenge quests like we are just talking about. But that kind of stuff falls under just, you know, like their stage gameplay. They've frequently made good, unique stages that are different, right? You know, Zeus is a really unique and different boss, right? And so is Fluffy, and so, well, he's actually put kind of a stat check. But anyway, you know, you get what I'm saying. You know, their stage design's not really the issue. I'm talking about like overarching, you know, event design where they try to act like, you know, they introduce like the radar in 4.5 like it means anything, but it doesn't, right? Stage gimmick is not like those kinds of things like the 4.5 that I'm talking about. Like other than Grailfront and Setsubun, I don't think any time they've done like an event gimmick like that where it actually matters. Like, I absolutely cannot think of anything. Look at them both getting the divinity up. Let's do that. Rip tank. There we go, that's what I wanted to see. If, we might kill them both here. 10% on that Buster, but I might kill Valkyrie. He failed the 90. Protoku failed the 90, and he had a crit up from his first skill, so I'm pretty sure that would have resulted in 10k damage. I don't think the murder mystery events count, because they're not really even events, and you don't even have to partake in the mystery stuff, so you don't have to do like the online pull stuff, like you don't do anything. It doesn't matter if you guess right or wrong. Like, that's actually exactly what I'm talking about. Look how shallow that actually ultimately is. You don't have to guess, and if you do guess, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. Like, wow! That really mattered. Like, it's just generic, you know, straightforward shit as always. Oh yeah, there are events that I've enjoyed, and normally it's just because there's, like, this is normally what makes good events, is there's more stages worth a damn than normal, right? Case Files has more boss fights than normal, Good of Final has more boss fights than normal, and they're meaningful boss fights, they're not just a complete pushover, stuff like that, right? Nero Fest and stuff. That's normally what saves events, is just content. It's like, oh, this is actually interesting, and I'm using my brain, right? That's normally what makes it worthwhile. You know, Grailfront was kind of a novelty. I don't think it has a whole lot of depth behind it. And I like Setsubun events, although they're kind of hit or miss, because sometimes they have too much filler. But like that last Setsubun event they did, when for the most part I was actually kind of bored with it, and it was one of my least favorites. But then after like floor 80 and on, I started liking it more. And then I did like a stream or two where, because I didn't do any of the bonus floors going through it, I had done everything. And then I had all like 20 bonus floors or however many it was just there, and we did them all back to back, and that was awesome. The bonus floors were, when you played them that way, were really fun because they were more interesting, and then your units going on cooldown, you know, kind of mixed up what you did. I had a blast figuring out what each floor did and like figuring out what their gimmicks were and stuff. That I honestly enjoyed the hell out of that. So if they make a challenge tower like that where you have like 50 floors like that and no filler floors, that would be great. I skip most event stories. If I like them, I'll look up translations online, and if I don't, I just ignore them, because event stories are normally really shallow and dumb, and I just don't care. There's exceptions. There's absolute exceptions. Every once in a while, there's an event that's more serious. There's way more serious, and it can be good and interesting and whatnot. But yeah, most event stories I think are pretty bad. Like, I always read the main story, but yeah, I skip event stories quite often. I think a lot of people play FGO for the gameplay, though, not the story. I don't think people realize that. Actually, I take that back. I skip, when I remember when FGO came to NA, and I was already kind of aware because I'd skimmed through translations of the early stories on JP, but I skipped like Orleans and all that. It's just so bad. Yeah, I read parts of it and I'm like, this is just terrible. And I've gone back and read more of it, but dude, like, not Orleans. Actually, I read all of Orleans. Actually, I did read all of Orleans. Orleans actually is not that bad. It's not great, but you know, for old stuff, it's okay. Septum, that's the one I meant. Septum and you know, that stuff. Yeah, especially Septum. Septum is just very easy to skip that one. I think people are actually pretty diverse on why they play FGO. I think a lot of people do like the Fate franchise and do read the story. There is a lot of people that enjoy the story. And there's some people that just like the cool characters and all the different designs. Not just the waifus. I mean, my god, look how fucking... Not Virgil, it got the #1 spot for 4 stars, right? And, you know, then Ricky got, you know, the #1 Valentine's Day and everything. So, I mean, plenty of people do it for the guys, clearly. But, you know, I think a lot of people do like, you know, the boss fights. You know, I like Fate, but I do really like the boss fights over here. Zeus is fun, you know, Fluffy is fun. You know, Neuropest boss fights are fun. Like, it's not copium. Those are fun, engaging, interesting boss fights. Like, absolutely. So I think there's a real mix of why people play. Some people... you know, like it for all kinds of reasons, and I think a lot of people mix it up. You know, they have more than one reason why they like it. It's very common for FGO, actually. I'm always seeing people on Reddit and shit acting like people only play it for waifu stuff, or people only play it for the story, or whatever. But I think that's pretty damn far away from the truth, even though there are plenty of people that do that. You know, I really do wish trash mobs were playable. You know someone would grail a tiger tank. I mean, you know someone would do that. Like, there's gonna be a 2K foe tiger tank, shooting flame everywhere. I play for the CCUI, oh no. And just like grailing, people are always saying you should only grail for love. It's like, you should grail for whatever you want, right? If you want to grail for gameplay, that's completely fine. And I think I've seen the same thing. I think a lot of people mix it up. They'll grail a lot of their favorites, and they're like, oh wow, this one unit, even though they're definitely not one of my favorite characters, they're really unique and interesting, and this is just fun gameplay. I'll grail them, right? Like, plenty of people do that, right? And some people only grail their favorites, and some people only grail things for gameplay reasons. Like, and that's fine. However the fuck people want to do it, let them do it. Freedom is good. Actually, a lot of the 1-stars are pretty good if you grail them one time. You grail them one time, they go from 60 to 70, so that's 10 levels for one grail. And a lot of 1-stars actually have some nice handy toolkits that can, you know, like Spartacus and Arash. They're great if you grail them. They make farming a hell of a lot easier and simpler. Now, there are some 1-stars that are not so good, unfortunately, but there's probably more good ones than bad ones, I would say. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Unless you grail to 92 for FP, respect for those people. I don't really care. I wouldn't grail like that, but... I haven't seen a 120 Arash, but there's probably one out there. Let's see. Please crit. Don't fuck it up. You fucked it up. We failed a 90% crit that last time, and now we just failed an 80 and a 70. We could have killed that tank so easily. Imagine having triple attack up and a giant crit buff, and then failing 80% and 70%. Like, how are you gonna do me like that? You know what? We're doing Stheno's NP just because of that. We're gonna get that defense down. That'll save us. Damn, dude. Yeah, I've been taking a lot of 4 stars to 90 lately. Like just 2 Grails. Quite nice. You know, I did it for Siegfried, Lancelot, even Calamity Jane, and Percival. The Percival's probably going to go beyond 90 eventually, but in the meantime, I'm happy with that. Really, it doesn't take a lot for me to Grail these. Okay, early on, because I've been playing FGO for a long time. In the early days, it was really hard to get me to Grail a 4 or a 5 star because I like so many of the 3 stars and they need the help more. But most of those that I really wanted to upgrade, hey Cairo, I'm done. You know, Ku's Grailed, Billy's Grailed, Darius is Grailed. Some of the only low stars that I super like that aren't Grailed is because I kind of like having them not Grailed because it's fun to show them off at 70, like Bedivere and Robin. Although there is a part of me that kind of wants to level a second Bedivere and a second Robin so I can have them at 70 and Grailed, because I really do like Robin Hood. Like, he's awesome, like, really cool character. Anyway, but yeah, most of the low stars that I really wanted to Grail, I've got Grailed. So now I'm a lot more willing to, like, I Grailed Beowulf. I Grailed Beowulf to 80 to 90, although that was not a hard sell because Beowulf is awesome. But you get what I'm saying, right? If I'd like, okay, this character's gameplay is pretty cool and they're 4 star. Like Burgess, there's a good example. I'm not a huge Burgess fan, right? She's okay, but I Grailed her to 90 just because there's only 2 Grails. I have plenty of them, and that makes her a lot stronger, and her gameplay is really fun. But she's by no means in like my top, 30 favorite characters in Fate or anything. If they added Green Knight, everything would go on hold, and I gotta upgrade that. I would be so mad if Green Knight was like Castoria levels of broken. I would be so mad because I do not enjoy FGO when I like am spamming that kind of stuff, especially during challenge quests, right? Like, it's not fun. It makes it too easy, right? Too simple, too straightforward. I don't like it. I do not have fun doing that. I have fun maybe like every once in a while buff stacking and breaking the game, or beating a challenge quest legit and then going back and cheesing it because it's kind of fun to see the difference. But if they added Green Knight, I obviously want to use him in videos and like make good gameplay videos with him. But if he's busted like Castoria, like that's just not gonna happen. I mean, that is like the worst timeline for me. Is they make the Green Knight and I love the design. It's like a badass voice actor and good animations and all that, but then he's broken and he's like super overpowered. That is such a bad timeline. No, Cairo, it's worse. I know exactly what you're gonna say, but it's worse. Because if I didn't like the Green Knight, then it's easy to ignore them, right? But if I super like them, right, and they're like my favorite character and they're awesome, but then their gameplay ruins everything, that is such a bad thing, right? Because then you're super conflicted and everything is ruined. Where if they just make the Green Knight lame, then I just ignore it, right? The worst timeline is where you don't like green. That doesn't exist. That out of all the timelines out there, there is none where that happens. It does not, Cairo. I'll die on this hill. Let's see. These are probably like just the guard guys. Oh, we still gotta fight. What's her name? Panda Lancer, that's the thing. I totally forgot about that. That's probably the next major boss fight, actually. What do we want to slot? Could just use Beowulf, because he's cool. But Beowulf with Golden Sumo, though. What do I have slotted right now? Wow, is Mordred not slotted on any of my stuff? That's gotta be fixed. How did that happen? CE Chaos right now. Man, we're so close to Lostbelt 4, and then if we beat that, it's Asclepius time. I'm getting them. So for I've done this on like every account since he got added, where after like Camelot or so, I save all my SQ to roll story. And it's worked every time. I think we'll be fine. I think we got a pretty decent amount. And while we're at it, I can hopefully get Ushi copies, because she's still MP1. And Bedivere. I'd like to get Bedivere. Do I use my Babbage when he's 1-1-1 and doesn't have his NP upgrade? I guess. What if they made his gameplay cool, but his design lame? I mean, that would suck, but it's not the worst timeline. That doesn't suck as much as the previous. They like making so much weird stuff these days, I am kind of worried. My hope is if they ever do the Green Knight, it's going to be in 3.0, because I don't think Time Moon is going to be as involved in 3.0. And Time Moon is the reason for a lot of the weirdness. And a lot of times the artists they work with that are not from Time Moon, they tell them to make stuff weird. So, yeah. Oh, music's looping here. Kirby music. That is not the song I meant to click. I meant to click Miracle Matter. Kind of weird to think that this song and Miracle Matter are both from the same game, by the way. Like, they're not just both Kirby, they're both from Crystal Shards. So, what the hell? That's an opening hand, by the way. So I will say, I like Beowulf's character, I like his voice actor, I like his lore abilities, I like his gameplay. I don't really like his design that much. I don't mind, like, you know, his, you know, physical self. It's just, why is he wearing cargo pants? And why did he chain his arms together? Like, it's just, it's the jeans. That could be his nickname, honestly. It's just, like, why? It's so out of place, it doesn't work at all. And again, I like Beowulf, his personality and all that, just fine. His lore abilities are good, his gameplay's good. And like, they represent like what his character is about pretty well. Like it's quite obvious to me they actually read Beowulf's stuff, right? They didn't like look it up on Wikipedia, they actually read the damn thing. But I don't know where the design came from, and it's pretty disappointing. And yeah, his ascension sucked. Like, it just sucks, right? Like, his design's not great. I mean, I've seen worse. At least it's not Space Beowulf. This could be going better right now. But for how much I like the actual story of Beowulf and how I do like his character and fate and everything, I really wish he had a good design to go along with it. I brought the wrong mystic code. It's actually quite bad. Okay, time for crit. Too bad our skills are 1-1-1. Otherwise, we would have actually killed there. Damn you. And of course you crit. Man, is Beowulf ever even gonna get a costume? Cause I kinda doubt it. But if he got like a more classical look, that'd be pretty cool. Fire everything. We get nothing out of Atlas here. He really does need an animation update though. Like that pose with the torso is so awkward because they didn't actually reanimate his midsection, and so like if you look at the front leg, it's actually super messed up. It looks quite bad. Maybe someday. Probably won't kill. Her Babbage is not even foed, for crying out loud. Yeah, I really wish Karna had gotten the event rerun. I wanted a Virtua rate up, I wanted Karna coins, I wanted the lottery, like there were so many things there. Karna has been like the best received welfare that I've seen them put out, at least in recent years. Let's use Plot Monk. Classic. For killing assassins. Oh, that support list. I forgot that I have this. I hate that so much. God, this account is just 5 stars all the time when you don't want them, and then anytime you want them, you can't have them. Yeah, I blocked that one from my memory. Dude, I rolled so much and I only got 2 Moris. And I got like 6 Ezos. Just awful. It's so dumb because you don't even get the Mori copies for the first 5 Moris that you get. Like when people hear that you don't get the retroactive coins, I think they think after MP5, but no, you just don't get them at all. So the game sees it as I've gotten Mori twice ever, and then I've gotten them to Bond 10. That's what it sees it as. But in truth, I've gotten them 7 times, and I've gotten them to Bond 10. But because I did that before the coin system, it doesn't count, and I can't do shit with his passives and whatnot. It's so lame. Meanwhile, you know, they bring out like some new unit and you happen to get them a few times and you already can get their passives. Not Bond 15, not a true fan. I don't have any Bond 15s yet. I'm almost there though. Ku's very close. He needs like 360k. Bonk him. That is such a long extra attack. Hey, for Bond 10 to 15, 360k is pretty damn close. Like, a lot of units need like 360k to go from like Bond 7 to, you know, Bond 8 and stuff like that, so it's not bad. And doing Bond 14 to Bond 15 is actually more than Bond 1 to Bond 10 for a lot of people. And then you still have to do Bond 11, Bond 12, Bond 13, Bond 14, right? And all of those take almost as much, so you're basically doing Bond 1 to 10 5 times. It actually might be a little bit worse than that, but it's around there. It's a little bit worse or a little bit easier. Which is atrocious because you can't work on all 5 at the same time. You have to do them one at a time. Because like if you can have 3 units in your back row and all 3 of them are working towards Bond 10 at the same time, right? You can't. You don't do that with Bond 15. So it is very, very slow. It kind of sucks too because it used to be where Bond 15 was just for fun, you know, it was kind of just to show off your favorite unit. It didn't really do anything. It never like mattered. You got a little bit of SQI doing it, but it was so inefficient. I mean, the amount of farming you had to do for one you know, shot of SQ there was just so insane. It was not a big deal. But now because of the coin system, it actually matters, especially for units like Bedivere and or limited stuff like Mori. It's one of your only ways to get coins, so. But normally the coins from Bond are not enough to do a whole lot. I'm gonna taunt so I get more refunds. We don't have our buff from our first skill, but I'm gonna save it for the next MP. I don't think they'll do Bond 20, but you never know. Bond 15 is kind of an awkward number, I suppose. Feels good, Zaw. I actually need to work on that myself. Once Chin Gong is Bond 10, I'll probably start working on that, because my Chin Gong's Bond 9, and he only needs like 170k, I think, to get Bond 10. So I figure I might as well. I bring Ku no matter what. It doesn't matter if it makes my farming less efficient, like I will always bring Ku no matter what. And if my pet was a 5-star, I'd do the same thing, but you'd only do one at a time. You can't work on like 3 5-stars at the same time, generally. Unless they happen to be like really good farming units like Mordred or Edmund Dantes and Scatty or something, right? But normally you can't do more than like 1 5-star at a time. This is probably the first fight with Panda Lancer. What are we gonna bring? Let's use Lancelot. He's a good time. He slays bosses pretty smoothly. And he's got good animations. Don't know why I'm bothering to slot this, but why not? Actually, I've got the other one where you get more from friend summon, but I'm just gonna replace this in a minute, so who cares? Also, I always have such a hard time finding this CE. There it is. Pretty sure I've already got Scatty slotted with it, but some people still use Waver. Hans is pretty good here. Classic, although there's riders. I can probably deal with that. I wonder if Arash is enough to deal with that. If I need Spartacus, we'll try Arash. That could be good. Could use Stheno to kill the riders, actually. Okay, George needs Bond. I will be so glad when he's done, because he's the only thing that we really need to get to Bond 10 for, like, practicality's sake. And then Stheno is the one thing that we have to bring, like, all of the time. So, like, once George doesn't need to be worked on, I can bring stuff like Beowulf, right, if I want to get, you know, the Bond for his interlude or whatever. Stuff like that. I could probably do without Martha. Or make it a little bit harder and less smooth, but let me Bond. Oh, how I wish I had Anniversary Blonde. Soon, pretty likely that I'll get it actually once I roll after Lostbelt 4. I know, Waver is still so good for farming on both JP and NA, but when I'm farming on NA, I want Waver too. Because I don't have, that account doesn't have the stuff to work with Scatty. I mean, it can, it's just not as good as Waver. But thankfully I've got a few friends on NA that have Waver. On NA though, actually I do use Scatty a lot, because I've got Edmund and MLBK scope. And my Edmund's had a high NP rank, so. I autopilot that a lot, and if I'm not doing that, I'm normally doing a setup where I don't need a friend support at all, and I'll just summon whatever based on the CE. Because I've got so many ways to 3-turn without even using a meta support. Like between Mordred and Arthur, all the high battery self-charge units I've got. And I've got them in like every class, so it's pretty easy. I so wish we did not get those cards here, although I guess the deck's gonna shuffle, so it's alright. Okay, that's enough of this song. Oh, that is a bad hand. We don't have a single Lancelot card. Why, game? What the fuck? I could do so much if he just had one card. Like, what am I gonna do? Use my battery skill and, you know, NP, but then have no follow? What a waste of the Star Bomb. This is painful. Fuck you, game. God damn. Oh, I guess I'll still do it, even though we don't need it, because 30 stars is enough for him. I guess I don't do the Star Absorb, because no point. What is this nonsense? Well, we'll probably loop, that's a thing. A little loud there. So, because we waste, like, some of Lancelot's cards we couldn't use there, I think he's only gonna have one card here. No, two. I forgot about the quick card. I wonder if he can do 39k. How many buffs does he got? 2 crit buffs and an attack buff. That's not a lot. If this was off cooldown, I'm sure he could do it. Damn. And his NP do 234, level 90. Doubt it. I guess I do that. Unsatisfying. Sound effects bugged out there. I wish I could add everybody too, but there's so many problems with the support list right now. They said a while ago, but they said they were thinking about adding a favorite system, and if they do that, I will add everybody. And happily. And then I'll judge all your support lists. Oh yeah, now I get the attack buff. That's the good stuff. And then Stheno doesn't get a card. Oh, game. Because like, if Stheno got a card, she could kill the 11k one, and then I could attack out the crit stuff. Lancelot there. Well, we don't have crit buffs, but doing it anyway. We have crit down. We have double crit down. And before our crits do less damage than a normal hit. That can happen on some bosses. And even that demon in the free quest in Epic of Remnant 1, it can give you so much crit damage down that you do less damage with a crit. There's been a few boss gimmicks like that as well. Like Limbo, actually, at the end of 5.5. Yeah, the extra support slots do make it easier to look at people's accounts that way. I like doing the account reviews the normal way, but it's so hard to sort through them all. And I can't do them as fast as people send them in, and it makes a real problem. Haven't really found a good answer to that, to be honest. Okay, what are we doing here? I think it's Panda Lancer again, but this time with assassins, and the assassins are actually a bit tougher to deal with. Let's try the same team, see what happens. Not that music though. Not quite enough damage to clear here, and I was NYC 99. Thank you for the 3 months. That's kind of a sus name there, but I don't think that's the other one. I think Lost took care of that. That was terrible timing to have such a sus name, by the way. But I don't think that I think that's just a coincidence, because I don't think a scammer or any of that spammer would sell for 3 months. And I remember this name earlier, so I think we're good. But I tell you, some people really just asking for it out there. Bonk, bonk. Well, we might kill everything here. Okay. Come on, Lancelot cards this time. Work with me. Get that Nero out of here. Dude, there's a mod that Saber Nero sent me of Halo 1 where Flood are replaced with the Christmas Nero thing, and it does the stupid song, and like the different Flood have different pitches. Some have like deep pitch, high pitch, normal pitch. And so you have like the Flood that explode and turn into all the little Flood, and they all turn into little Christmas Neros. It is so ridiculous. But they like actually, how do I never get Lancelot's cards on this turn? Like, this is such a big turn, because you've got the stars from Hans from the last turn, and you make the star bomb, which gives you the battery to instantly NP. Oh man, also I need to cast that on turn 1, I just keep forgetting. Don't worry guys, Stheno Brave Chain. Alright. The next hand is 3 Lancelot cards. I actually need to do the Star of Dwarf for 42 cards. I don't know why I didn't cast that last turn. Can I mix in Hans's NP? It's gonna be close. If he lands the attack up, it'll be totally fine. Like the extra 20% I think would be enough for the NP to shore it up with the crit. So yeah, just 80% chance to land the attack buff, not a big deal. There we go, nice and smooth. I was about to scream, but we're good. And yeah, the Deanstay Knight I think absolutely has the best India to this day. A lot of the other ones are like too tri-bardy to be different, and, like dramatic. It's like, my god, in America, dude, in the States, anytime like a celebrity sings the national anthem, they try way too hard to like make it over the top and like dramatic, and it sucks. It's like, dude, just dial it back like 9 notches and it'd be fine. But everyone does that, and it is terrible. And I feel like that's where in the remixes are at most of the time. They're just trying too hard to be something. Wow, we shredded that health bar. Raise, yeah. Oh crap, she got guts. I can remove it if I want to. It's only 6k. You know what? I'm gonna remove it anyway. Am I gonna do 100% crit though on a 6k enemy? Why did the hand have to be like this? Can Stheno do 6k? Sure, why not? We'll give her the attack up. She got this. Stheno with a quick card, 70% crit. That was so close. She did not crit, because of course not, and then barely did enough damage there. That assassin, I like how he's at full health, and the other two are pretty foobarred there. I guess we'll save Stheno. Unless I triple crit here, I don't think we're killing. And we might not even kill with that, because I don't have the buffs anymore. No, I actually only needed double. God, his animations are so good. It's the best, man. Bang, bang, bang. I hope the new 4-star, I hope she has, like, not stupid, over-the-top animations. I don't want, like, cat stuff. Like, just hit them with the axe. Like, just give us an axe version of Lancelot there, right? And we're good. But, unfortunately, that's never gonna happen. Nasu sounds boring. Yep, yeah, when he said that in an interview, dude, about like making a normal version of armor, I was like, okay, great. That explains a lot. They'll probably use the dragon for the extra attack, I would expect. But it's, you know, you're supposed to save the, you know, the big thing for the NP. Although I guess she's a rider, so she should be riding the dragon like all of the time, and it's actually kind of dumb when they don't do that. I think George, his 3rd stage, should have been on the horse all of the time, and you only have to adjust a couple animations to make that work, because he has the horse in so many of his attacks. With some pretty minor twinks, you can make that happen. And if you don't want the horse, you can use stage 1 or stage 2. Okay, I think we'll stop here because I still want to have some time to play Dark Souls. And this is a good stopping point because the next stream is going to be boss fight, boss fight, boss fight, boss fight, right? It's going to be nuts. And that's going to be good. I'm actually really looking forward to this, like, boss gauntlet at the end here on this account. I wish my Beowulf was ready, but I think he needs hero proofs or some crap, so I don't, yeah, so between that and, Proto-coup, we're gonna have to farm a lot of hero proofs for this account. That's definitely a problem. That is an issue though. We're probably gonna have to summon something kind of good from the support list then to help with Mothman, just because this account doesn't have anything applicable for the Mothman fight. We've got taunts and stuff and that's good, but we don't have any DPS, so we'll have to summon a DPS to help us. This kind of is what it is. I'm gonna take those, like, before I stream Dark Souls, I'm gonna take a quick break, like just like a minute or two, because I gotta get tea and stuff, so I'll do that real quick. But then we're gonna play some Dark Souls. For those that are just here for FGO though, we will be back at this tomorrow. Let's see, how long do we have for 6.5? Is it the 22nd? Is that when it is, or is it later than that? Let me look. I want to say it's the 22nd. And if that's the case, we don't have too long. Because I'll be trying to stream that, of course. It is, yeah, the 22nd. Which will be like, I think it's at 4, it starts at 4 a.m. again for me, so it's one of those. Anyway, boys, I will be back in just a couple minutes, and then we'll play some Dark Souls, and I'll leave the music running here while I go get tea. So I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. Good song. Alright, let me reset the stream real fast so the VODs are separated. Feels bad to have to kill the music.